welcome back to another episode of the Sister Talk podcast. I'm your host, Gold Chain Diva. And you already know I'm just a sister who has a lot to talk about. And from week to week, I always got more and more things that I want to talk about. Okay? Listen, your girl don't know how to shut up. Okay? Listen, they do more and more things every week. It's more things that I want to tell y'all. So what's been going on with your sister since the last time? Matter of fact, you know what? I always forget this part. Before I tell you what's been going on with your sister, make sure you click the link down below to make that subscribe button turn red and help your sister get to 200 subscribers. Now that we got that out the way, what's been going on with your sister? Okay. So it's been a couple of weeks since I last talked to you all. Your sister has been going through a lot. Listen, I'm in a season right now where I guess the Lord is just pruning me. Okay, He's trying to take certain things away from me, so He can give me, new fruit. I'm in a space right now where I'm blessed, okay? I'm just going to say that I'm blessed because as much has been going on lately, I'm not going to complain. Y'all know I always try to find the positives in any situation. So this situation is not going to be no different. But I'm going to have a little bit of a transparency moment with y'all because y'all know, this is therapy for both of us, okay? It's therapy for both of us. So I'm just going to go ahead and just spill my heart out to y'all and just let y'all know what's been going on in my life. And hopefully, something in this story helps you out. I'm not going to give y'all 100% details. I don't want to be 100% transparent this time around because y'all know I normally give y'all the full tea without no chaser, okay? But you all know, most of you all follow me on social media. Most of y'all follow me on Facebook or friends with me on there. And I know a lot of you probably saw a status that went up that was like, empty niggas. Okay. Look, I'm gonna just say it that way. Your sister was having a hard time. Everybody who's been tuned into this podcast or even the Sauceworthy podcast that I was doing before this, know that my love life has been somewhat of a roller coaster. Okay. It goes up, but then it damn sure goes down. Okay. Every single time. It never fails to let me down. We already talked about the dating pool having, pee, poop, vomit in it. So we already know that these stories can only get worse at this point, but we're going to have faith that God has better. But anyway, we didn't get to that part yet. So long story short, was dealing with somebody and basically found out this person had a whole double life. Okay. A life that existed, I don't know, since 2014. Like, why would you bring me into your foolishness and tell me, oh, you're gonna be my wife and all these things? But you probably already had a wife. And the thing that makes me so confused when it comes to situations like this is because I put it out on the table. I said, hey, we're dating, we're getting to know each other. How about, we keep our options open? You date whoever you want to date. I date whoever I want to date. And let's keep our options open to make sure that we actually like each other before we actually say, hey, we're not going to talk to nobody else. That's the part that behooved me. We had this conversation. And this particular person told me, no, I don't want to leave it up to chance. I just want to talk to you. Da 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 da. Whole time, like I said, was living a double life. Now, the reason why I want to tell y'all this story is because of two things. And y'all probably saw the follow-up statuses that came after because, you get angry. I'm human just like everybody else. I got angry, posted a status. But then also the Lord has started working on me after that. And one of the verses that He gave to me was from Hebrews. It was Hebrews chapter 12, verse 6, where He said, God corrects those that He loves. He disciplines those that He loves. And that was the verse that just kind of put me back in order because I read this verse before several times and I never quite understood what that meant. But this situation really helped me understand what it meant because not only did the Lord look out for me in a way that only He could look out for me, He revealed something to me that had I not seen it a month into talking to this person, if I would have been, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 6, a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, and had not ever discovered this situation, it would have been a very bad situation for me to be in. And so it really helped me understand that, yes, a lot of the times as humans, we take God's no as a closed door, as a harsh, I don't want you to have it, and we kind of stamp our feet and throw temper tantrums because God didn't seemingly give us something that we wanted. And this verse really helped me understand, like, God loves you. Like, he loves you enough to go before you and be able to flip that stone over so that you could see what was hiding in your pathway, and so that you wouldn't waste time, so that you wouldn't be down bad, so that you wouldn't have low self-esteem again, so that you wouldn't have depression and anxiety and all these different things that you've experienced in past relationships, because we all know that I've been through more than a little bit when it comes to this dating scene. And so I just was so grateful when I kept hearing it in my head. I said, you know what? God loves me, because if he didn't, he wouldn't even have made this possible for me to even experience this and be able to find this information. Because let me tell you something, okay? MacGyver, okay? Look, I sat down in my thinking chair and I thunk and I thunk and I thunk and I found what I had to come up with, okay? It was right in front of me. It wasn't like the person was trying to be sneaky. They just didn't know that I was who I was. They didn't know that my father was looking out for me and that he would reveal to me something that was done in the dark. And so I just wanted to give y'all that, because, a lot of us may be going through different situations in our lives where we pray to God about something and seemingly it's not happening in the time period that we think that it should happen. Because a lot of times when God says that he's going to do something for us, we misconstrue it as he's going to do it right away. And so we don't realize that it's a process. And so we get anxious and we start being like, dang, God, like I want this so bad, and I want this thing and I want this thing, but it's seemingly not happening for me. And so obviously you don't want it for me. And like we get angry, we get upset. And so I wanted somebody to know that God heard what you asked for. And just because a door closed and something didn't work out the way that you expected it to, does not mean that God is trying to hurt you. It could be the exact opposite situation where he's trying to go before you and protect you and keep you out of something that you don't even know is going on. Okay, because he's all knowing, all seeing, he's omnipotent, he's everywhere. So because he is everywhere, you got to find joy. And all I can do is just praise God. And I'm going to praise him right now in front of everybody here, because as much as it hurt me, it hurt me, because I really did like this person. It was a good month. The person, seemingly it was a good month. Seemingly this person checked all the boxes for me. Seemingly like we had a nice little flow or whatever. So yes, it hurt me. It hurt me when I found that information out. But all I can do is be thankful to God enough that he cared enough about me, that he took enough moments out of his day to be able to say, hey, I'm going to show you this and I'm going to protect you from this, because you don't see it, but I do. And so I really want to take the time to thank God publicly in front of all of you all, because it really, like, just knowing that he loves me enough that he didn't allow me to stay in that situation longer than what I had to. And so I thank God before all of you here today. I want to thank him for always protecting me, always sending a no, even when I wanted to be a yes so bad. So thank you, Lord. Listen, we're going to give the big God a round of applause for always coming through for your girl, because he don't play about me. Now, let me tell y'all when the story get a little interesting, okay? Because like I said, I'm human at the end of the day. Shorty wanted some get back, okay? I wanted some get got. I ain't want to be the only person that was feeling a certain type of way. I had it in my heart that I was going to come to Shorty as a woman and tell her what was going on with her dude. I was coming from a terrible place. I was coming from a terrible place. Listen, I wasn't trying to be a girl's girl. I wasn't trying to say, oh, well, she needs to know what's going on. Because da da da. No, I was not coming from that place. I was coming from some get got, okay? I ain't gonna be the only one out here hurting. But the Lord is so faithful, and the Lord is so funny, right? I get on by the Bible app, and the Bible of the day. Listen, I'm gonna tell you how funny the Lord is, because He hit me with the fruits of the Spirit. He hit me with this fruits of the Spirit. And for those who don't know what the fruits of the Spirit is, listen, I'm gonna tell you what they are. Galatians 5, chapter 19. Okay, listen, I'm putting y'all in deed of something this week, because somebody wants some get back. I don't know who I'm talking to out there, but one of y'all was trying to get even this week, and this is what the Lord trying to tell you. Galatians 5, chapter 19. Now the works of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, moral impurity, promiscuity, idolatry, sorcery, hatreds, strife, jealousy, outbursts of anger, selfish ambitions, dissensions, factions, envy, drunkenness, carousing, and anything similar. Now, the fruits of the Spirit is love, joy, patience, kindness, goodness, faith, gentleness, self-control. Listen, the Lord had to check me real quick. He said, listen, you're supposed to treat your neighbor as you want to be treated yourself. So you know what I did? I didn't get my get back. I kindly rescinded my friend request. I said, you know what? Lord, go before me. Go before me and go before her, okay? And shield her for the wickedness that is trying to devour her life, because I don't know what she got going on. And I politely just prayed for her. I said, Lord, just give her the vision to see the same way that you gave it to me, because this battle ain't for me, okay? This battle is not for me, because I was daggone sure going to fail that test, okay? So I don't know who I'm talking to out there. Somebody wanted to get even this week. That one was for you. Galatians 5, chapter 19, the fruits of the Spirit and fruits of the flesh. Listen, he had to reveal to me the fruits of the flesh, because my flesh wanted to get all up in there and wreak havoc, okay? So I had to turn away from my flesh this week and really say, you know what, God? I'm going to exhibit love, patience, kindness. I'm going to exhibit all the fruits of the Spirit, and I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to let you do what you do best, because you get to get back the best way that anybody can, okay? You're going to do it far better than what I can, so I'm going to let you do it. Now, that's what's going on with your sister. So, listen, we're going to end it by saying, and another one, and another one, and another one bites the dust, and another one, and another. Listen, at this point, I'm just going to charge it to the game, okay? It's a part of the process. And if God said He was going to do something for me, I'm going to believe it, and I'm going to trust that it's going to happen. And the same thing for you. If God told you something, trust that it's going to happen. Now that we've gotten that out the way, okay? You know, we gave praises to the Most High. You know, we gave out 10% this week, okay? Now that we've done that, it's time to spill the tea, okay? Get your pinkies up. Listen, okay? I told y'all a million times, if you let them shenan once, they're gonna shenan again. It's a lot of shenanigans. It's always a lot of shenanigans. But the shenanigans that I want to tell you about this week, and I've been holding on to this for a while, because we got sidetracked a little bit with all the stuff that was going on with Diddy for a minute. It's still unfolding, so I doubt that those last 2 episodes are going to be the last time we talk about Brother Love. But we're going to table him for a second and get to some things that matters to your everyday life. Now, I've been sitting on this information. There is a situation where a mother, her name is Grace Shuyalu. She enrolled her son in an after-school program called Youth Life Center, which is located in Atlanta. Now, sounds very innocent, but I told y'all many times that they be preying on these babies, okay? I told y'all many times that there's a lot of sick people out here. And told y'all a lot of times that the LGBTQ plus all that stuff is trying to include pedophiles. So y'all need to be watching your children, okay? This mother of a 10-year-old boy found out that her son was having a very inappropriate relationship with one of the teachers that was at the daycare center. Now, is an unknown. It's unknown how old this woman was. However, from the pictures that I saw, she looked at least as if she was in her late 20s, early 30s. She was not no young lady. So therefore, she shouldn't have been even nowhere near trying to talk to this little boy. Well, the situation is this. The mother says that she realized early on that when she was dropping her son off and things of that nature, that one of the workers was kind of like lingering around a bit. And just, just a inappropriate type of banner or whatever. Then one day, apparently, her son's phone was dead. So she took the phone to go plug it up, charge it or whatever. And when the phone came on, she realized that the teacher was the background photo of the kid's phone. Now, of course, once she realized that just triggered everything else to come. So when she realized that she was the screensaver on the phone, she then went through the rest of the phone and uncovered text messages between her son, the 10-year-old son, and the caregiver. And basically, the woman's name was saved in his phone as mommy with heart emojis around it. She said she went through the text messages, basically because she was like, why is this woman's name mommy in my son's phone? She said that she went through the text messages and there were a bunch of I love yous and what are you wearing? And then she further scrolled down to reveal that the daycare worker also sent the child pictures of her posing in a short skirt. She said that's not a picture that you send to a 10-year-old. That's a picture that you send to your man. Now, let me tell you something. If I can find that picture, I'm gonna dig it up. If I can find it, it's gonna be here. This picture is completely inappropriate for a woman of her age to be sending to a child. Nonetheless, she shouldn't be carrying on a conversation with this little boy in the first place. She says that nothing has been done. They haven't charged because they haven't identified this person. They haven't charged her, and she believes that it's due to sexism. She said that had it been a situation where it was a little girl with a grown man, they would have locked him up on the spot with no questions until he was proven innocent. She alleges that the woman brought her son expensive gifts such as clothes, a gold chain, and when investigators spoke to the boy, he allegedly disclosed an incident where the employee also was rubbing his leg. He said that there was an incident where she was rubbing his leg and it happened on the way back from a field trip. Right now, like I said, they notified the appropriate authorities and they are under investigation at the moment. But nothing has come about yet saying that this young woman was fired. So, like I said, watch, be. I don't even know. I don't have no children, but I love the kids. So I want y'all to make sure that y'all paying attention to your children. I know that life gets crazy, but go through that phone, okay? Like I said to y'all in a couple other episodes, make sure y'all finger is on the finger lock. Make sure your face is on the face recognition because you need to be able to go through this phone. Connect their phone to your laptop, to your phone, whatever you got to do because these people are sick out here. Sick. A grown woman. What does a grown woman want to do with a little boy? Are you that bored that you can't find somebody to just text to pass by the time you got to text this little boy? Make it make sense. And it's not just male predators. There are female predators as well that are looking to groom these young men. Okay? So parents, please be advised and check your kids' phones. I don't care if it's a boy child, a girl child, whatever it is. Just make sure you're on top of it because these people are crazy out here. Now, the next thing that I want to talk to you all about, and like I said, anytime that I give y'all any information pertaining to the babies, I always give y'all a lot because it's a lot going on. I just want y'all to understand that the babies are under attack. Okay? I need y'all to understand that these people don't mean no good for these children. And I want y'all to be alert to what's going on. There's a situation happened this week going around in a Northgate Crossing Elementary School in Texas. Okay? There's a situation where an investigation is going on because one woman's child came home excited to show her mother something, and she shows her what she calls a sleepy time patch, right? And the patch was on her leg. She hit it good enough to show it to her mom, and basically that alerted the mom to start asking questions. And you may have guessed it, it's basically melatonin in a patch. These people at this school were giving children sleepy time aids to help them go to sleep. So now parents are infuriated and calling for investigation, basically saying, "Hey, you're drugging my children without permission. We want you all to get fired." And so the way the story goes, they have fired the two employees that were allegedly giving these children these sleepy time patches. And once that one parent questioned it, there it sparked a whole trail of other parents that was like, okay, if this child got it, did my child get it? And so parents started asking their children questions, and sure enough, it was more than just that one little girl that said that she was getting that patch. There were so many other children that were like, yeah, they give it to us around sleep time. And a lot of parents started putting two and two together because they were just like, well, I was wondering why when they come home, like they don't go to sleep. And that would be why, because listen, they've been drugging them children up to make sure they get their nap in while they at work. And it's so crazy that we live in a world where we got to start thinking about stuff like this, because I think people in general are overcapacitated. People don't have the capacity anymore to give the type of TLC that they used to give back in the day. And now everything is such a quick fix. I'm not going to say that it's a right situation, because it's absolutely inhumane and it's immoral, because you definitely should not be giving somebody's kids something without their knowledge. So just want to let y'all know, listen, ask your kids. You never know. Maybe this is not an isolated situation. Ask your children, hey, do your teachers give you anything that look like this? I'm going to show you what it looks like. And make sure your children are not being drugged up. Now, moving on. Okay, we going to spill the tea while the tea is hot. Okay, we talked about earlier in the episode where I said I spent a lot of time on the Diddy case. I have to give time to this situation because when I first started talking about Diddy on a few other episodes, y'all threw me up under the bus and told me that I wasn't being fair. Y'all told me that as a black woman, I got to do better, because we always throw our own under the bus, but we don't throw the others up under the bus, okay? There is a situation going on right now. I just want y'all to know there's a situation going on right now. Not many people are talking about it in the mainstream media, specifically because this person's PR team is trying to keep this under wraps. But you may start hearing about it soon, because it's ramping up. But country music singer Garth Brooks is under fire right now for rape allegations. Okay, it's not just Diddy. People are actually trying to say that he's going to be the white Diddy, because things are coming out about him, and apparently it's more than what we thought. But the claims that are being placed against him is from a woman who worked as his hair and makeup stylist, and also worked with Brooks's wife, Trisha Yearwood, beginning in 1999. And she also then began working for Brooks in 2017. The woman's lawsuit alleged that Brooks raped her in a Los Angeles hotel room in 2019, and that he exposed his genitals to her many other times and talked about sexual fantasies with her and sent her sexually explicit text messages. Now, the woman says that the reason why she didn't say anything at the time was because, one, she was intimidated about his stature, his status, basically saying like, I was fearful. But also she was in a financial position where she couldn't afford to not work anymore with them. And so she never came out and said anything for that reason. But Garth basically, he alleges, and he's basically, I don't want to say he's countersuing, but he's basically trying to go against this, because he's saying, hey, this woman is trying to extort me. She reached out to me prior to, actually filing the formal complaint and the formal allegations against him. She reached out to me and said, hey, if you don't pay me such and such amount of money, then I'm going to come out and say this. And so here we are where, the woman proceeded with her allegations because clearly Garth didn't pay the money. Because he also was just like, look, if I pay the money, it's basically a admission of guilt. If I pay this money to this lady, I'm basically saying that I did this. And so he held off. He didn't pay her any money. And then here we are now with this woman coming to court. She has a 27-page document, a file that details all these different things. And she tells a story in the documents about how Garth actually got into her phone one day, deleted most of the messages. He thought he deleted them all, but he didn't. And so there are various text messages where he talks very inappropriately to her. There's various text messages where she clearly states like that she doesn't want to be a active participant in this type of affair, and he completely goes against it. From the text messages in the report, you can basically see that it seemed like it was all one-sided, where he was just the Lulu. Okay, he wasn't trying to take no for an answer. He wanted her bad. Okay. And allegedly in this paperwork there were also conversations that this woman privately and secretly recorded. Now, these will be allowed to be in evidence only because of where the recordings were taken and the law in that state. Because Tennessee is where the two were had a working relationship and things of that nature, she's able to enter those things into evidence because there's no laws against recording somebody without them knowing in the state of Tennessee. And so she logged all these different things into evidence. And then she also basically says that, she was fearful for her life. She thought that at some point he was going to hire somebody to unalive her, which leads us to it's time. Okay? It's time, y'all, for conspiracy time. Okay, listen, I know y'all like how I just did that. Okay, listen, that was real smooth, wasn't it? No, I had to slide that in there because there's a conspiracy. Now, as much as Garth is under fire right now because he specifically named this victim and publicly tried to shame her by doing so because he had no real reason to name her in public. But even though he's under this situation right now and his team is trying to fight these allegations, it also caused some bones to start falling out of the closet. Now, you just heard me mention that the accuser was afraid for her life and she thought that Garth was actually going to hire someone to unalive her. So let's just leave that there. Garth Brooks, at this time in 2018, Garth Brooks made a video saying that it was a teaser saying that it was time for the tour, Let's Get Weird. Tom Segura, who is a comedian, responded back and said he acts like a person that has bodies in his backyard. Ever since then, that has triggered some type of interest in what's going on in Garth's life. He then also went on another podcast or did an interview where Garth said something about, they asked him, oh, would you rather be a good guy or a bad guy? And Garth Brooks answers, I'd rather be a bad guy and kill someone. This fueled the flame for there to be a conspiracy that came out where people are alleging that Garth Brooks may be never guess it, but the conspiracy is that he may be a serial killer. Now, the reason why people think that he may be a serial killer is because once Tom Segura came out on the internet, saying what he said, people started looking closer like, what's going on here? Is there some truth to the situation? Now, what they uncovered was that apparently this is how the legend goes. The legend goes that pretty much every small town that Garth went to and performed at, there is a laundry list of people who went missing that night or were unalived, which leave people to think that he has something to do with it. Because is it a pure coincidence that every city that he goes to, somebody goes missing on that night or somebody is killed on that night? There has been no investigation to this. There's no, at this point, legitimacy to this. This is just a pure conspiracy. People don't know. But it became a thing because now everywhere that he goes, there's somebody in the crowd or even somebody in his comments that says, and it's like a running joke at this point that says, Garth, where are the bodies? They're asking him, where are the bodies? So a lot of people think that it's very possible. Now, the reason why I think it could be a little possible, conspiracy or not, I don't know. The reason why I think it could be possible is because in the process of me doing my research to figure the situation out, I uncovered the fact that Garth Brooks, and I don't know, a lot of us may not know this because we're a little younger. Garth Brooks is a little bit before our time. But Garth Brooks apparently had a alter ego named Chris Gaines. He was a rock persona that Garth came up with in the 90s. Now, the backstory about this Chris Gaines persona, because this persona has a whole background, like where he was from, all these different things. But they created this persona. His label thought it would be a good idea to create this persona to promote a movie called The Lamb that never actually came out. And so this film was supposed to showcase this Chris Gaines character, but because the film never came out, now everybody's looking like, why did Garth Brooks go rock for like a year? Like, this is so random. And so when you look up Chris Gaines, and I'm gonna show you a quick picture of what Chris Gaines looks like, and then like if you've never seen Garth Brooks, here's Garth Brooks, but it's a complete 360. Like, I mean, they're totally different as far as looks, okay? That's what leads people to think that this man was, he was a little cuckoo. He was a little loony. Now, one critic even said that it was a marketing scheme that backfired, and that when Brooks's new persona and his album were revealed to the public, they were very unforgiving and they didn't think he was playing a role. They simply thought he just lost his mind. So that adds to the claims that it was not done well. I think that his team had a good idea. I think that had it been executed properly, where the movie came out or the movie was even starting to be mentioned, and then they threw this persona out there, it would have added to the fact. But the fact that this movie never came out, people were looking like, okay, what is wrong with this man? Like, is he having a crisis? And honestly, I don't know. It could help the claims that this man is a serial killer. Now, the reason why a lot of people think that this personality, could have something to do with him being a serial killer is because a lot of people are saying that he could have DID, which is dissociative identity disorder. Now, meaning that he has an alter ego. He snaps from Garth to Chris Gaines. He's unaware of who he is when he is that person. And so a lot of people are like, if he does have that disorder, it could explain some of these mysterious missing people and some of these mysterious murders that are occurring. Conspiracy or not, I don't know. All I can say is he looks creepy to me. Like, he looks creepy to me. I agree with Tom Segura that he looks like he has bodies in his backyard. I believe that he's just the guy to do it. But his wife, she says she gonna stick beside him. She said that she doesn't believe any of the allegations, and y'all need to leave her man alone. So, more to come on this situation, because if we're going to talk about Diddy, we got to talk about Garth, okay? We got to talk about him. Conspiracy or not, let me know in the chat. Now, back to spilling the tea. I had to take a little detour for a second, but back to spilling the tea. Now, the next thing that I want to spill the tea on, as a person from Pennsylvania, you know that it's a long ongoing situation. Excuse me. It's a long ongoing situation and debate between who's better between Wawa and who's better between Sheets. People in Pennsylvania, Lord have mercy, I came with a new word. People in central Pennsylvania are the only ones who know about this beef. You go to Maryland, the DMV area, they'll probably be like, huh? What? Like, this is what y'all be talking about? But for those of us in the chat that are in central Pennsylvania, we're familiar with the Wawa and Sheets beef. But I just want y'all to know, it's not up to us. It's not up to us. The results are in. Okay? The results are in. The results are in. According to the American Customer Satisfaction Index rate, Wawa was ranked higher than Sheets. So I guess that settles the debate. Wawa is better out of the two this year in 2024, at least. They ranked 82 out of 100, whereas Sheets ranked 79 out of 100, which is not too far behind it. So I don't know. Maybe next year we'll be having a different conversation. But I wanted to let y'all know. Listen, Thanksgiving is coming up. This is something you'll talk to your family about. You get in this debate and you like Wawa, pull the facts. Be like, oh, because I got receipts. Wawa is the best. So there you go. You're welcome. Now, we have not had an uncancel culture in a very, very, very long time. Now, the reason why I want to have an uncancel culture this week is because the person that I want to uncancel, at least temporarily, on the probationary basis, okay? Because the jury is still out. But the reason why I want to talk about this person is because on several other episodes, we gave this person a hot minute and we ate her up. We talked about how dumb this person is several different times. However, you all know that I love positivity and I love to talk about people when they're doing good just as much as when they're doing bad. And so I want to give an uncancel culture moment to Krishan Rock. Like I said, we gave Krishan Rock several hot minutes when she removed the tat on her neck to just put it on her face of Blueface. We talked crap about her for several reasons, but the reason why I want to uncancel her, at least on a probationary basis today, is because I don't know if you all seen the interview that she did on Jamal Bryant, who is a pastor in Atlanta, who she did a interview on his podcast. And so this is the first interview that she's actually done since she was released from prison. The reason why I want to uncancel her is because I've always said that Krishan, despite all the foolishness that was going on around her, Krishan always had this sweetness, this presence about her. One thing that she never was unclear about was her love for God. She was always true to that. She may have strayed away from the path a little, but she never was unclear on where she stood. She always knew what her love for God was. And that was always something that I thought was admirable about her. I always felt like, she was going down a certain path because of the people that was around her. And she didn't have enough love and positivity around her to foster, the good things, the good things that God wished to have come about in her life. And so the reason why I want to cancel her is because in this interview, you can tell that we never really got to see Krishan like this before in an interview capacity. And the reason why I say that is because several of the interviews that are most memorable to most of us are probably the ones where she was either high off her behind, drunk off her behind, and just carrying on with her baby father, Blueface. And it was very cringy. It was a very cringy time of her life where we're looking at this woman in her lowest moment and we're just judging her based off of where she is in her journey. And so the reason why I want to talk about this is because you can tell in this interview that she does with Jamal Bryant that she's very poised. You could tell that it's very genuine. You could tell that she's very knowledgeable. Like she's had time to think as she was in jail. She had time to think about where she sees her life going next. And I believe that the fact that she's a new mother and she had to take that step away from her son is what really triggered her to be like, you know what? I got to get myself together. And so in this interview that she does with Jamal Bryant, we finally get her to hear her, a chance to hear her. A lot of the times that she did interviews with Blueface, he would silence her. where she would just be like, I mean, I don't know. And she would just not say nothing. And so this is the first time where we get to hear her speak her mind, speak her truth, and stand on business. And I'm so happy to see her in this space because I just believe that the sky is the limit for her. Like the music that she was making in the world was okay, but Jamal Bryant asked her, like, what kind of music she would be making, and she says, "Oh, like hood gospel." And he said, "Well, what is hood gospel? Give me an example." And Krishan breaks out into this song.
What is hood gospel? I want to know what hood gospel is.
Like Yahweh, Yahweh, there's only one way and it's God way. Yahweh, Yahweh, there's only one way and it's God way. Took my baby to get blessed and they said it's for clout. I'ma do my best for me and mine, that's from here on out. Trying to change my life, but all these demons keep attacking me. Ran back to my ex, the world saying it's toxicity. But they don't know he blessed me with my only son. That's why it's hard to let him go, but now I think I'm done. Who would've knew that a bundle of joy would fix my heart? I swear he gave me that fire when I was in the dark. I'm crying out to God to help me with these hard times. Don't want no drama, so I'm throwing up the peace signs. Yahweh, Yahweh, there's only one way and it's God way. Yahweh, Yahweh, there's only one way and it's God way.
You are anointed.
Music like that.
And I was just like I can see me bopping to that. And he tells her, he's like, "Oh my God, you're truly anointed." And I felt that way as she was singing. I was like, wow, like rapping. I was like, wow, she really is anointed for something great. And I do believe that she's going to bring a lot of people who never even thought about God. She's going to bring a lot of people closer to him. Because there's a lot of people that are looking at her and admiring her and looking up to her. And now that she's, I guess, come into submission to what God has for her life, I believe that, we're going to see some great things from this young lady. She sounds like she's on the right path. Like, she kind of cleared her circle out. She's taking moments to herself. She's not surrounding herself with all those people that meant harm for her in the past. And so I just want to give Shorty a round of applause because it's not easy to turn the narrative around. And I believe that if she is genuine and, if she stays in the light, it would be a great thing for her. So I wanted to uncancel Krishan this week because I want to give her props. Like I said, I talked so much crap about her when she was down and out that I want to actually praise her for where she's at on her journey right now. Because I believe that she's going to go and do some great things. So stay tuned. Listen, I could be wrong. I don't know. Listen, we could be canceling her a couple of months from now. Who knows? But right now, I want to give her props and let her know that at least at the Sistah Talk podcast, we see all the great things that she's trying to do. We see the direction that she is trying to go. And I want to just send her well wishes on her journey because I want to see great things for her. I believe that she's a beautiful spirit, a beautiful person. And I believe that she just went down a wrong path because the money was good. And so I just want, I want to see good things for her. Let me know in the chat. Am I right for canceling her, or what you think? What you think? You think she gonna fall short again of God's grace? Let me know in the chat. Well, that's all I have for you all for tonight's episode of the Sistah Talk podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I don't know. Listen, I'm thinking about coming to an end on this season soon. I haven't decided when I want to come to an end. It might be when we hit episode 20 of this season. 20 sounds like a good number for me. And then I'm also contemplating about whether we want to do episode drops every week or every other week. And lately, I've been doing every other week. I think it gives y'all more time to take in the episode and take in the information. So let me know in the chat. Has the every other week situation been working for y'all? Or do y'all want the tea every week? Let me know in the chat. But thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Sistah Talk podcast. I'm your host, Gold Chain Diva. You can follow me on all social platforms at goldchain__diva. And I look forward to giving you another episode with the hottest tea next week. Have a good night.